It's the Paul Korn Bow Hunting Channel.
Well, the 2016 Mathews bows are out. I'd like to do a quick little review and kind of compare what I've found from the Halon, which is their flagship bow, to the new No Cam, which is the No Cam HTX. I shot the Halon for about 3 days. I shot the 6. They make a 5, 6, and 7 inch brace height. I shot the 6 to try to, I wanted the speed, but I wanted a little bit of the forgiveness of a little bit longer brace height. I really love that bow. It has a great draw cycle. They did a super job on actually taking the base and widening it out as far as making the limbs a little bit wider. They actually bridged the riser like they did on this here No Cam, and just really brought a lot of stability to it. I really like what they did with the cams too, how they took the inner workings of the No Cam with just a great wide support base for your cable track and return, and just made everything very stable. So they took a lot or almost all of the cameline out of that particular bow. I shot the bow. I really liked it. Now I'm talking about the Halon 6. One thing that I did find out about it, it's a little bit harder on you because that first 2 or 3 inches that you pull, you're ramping that weight up to generate that, store that energy to get the speed out of the bow. So what I found was I was shooting a 340 grain gold tip arrow. The arrow had a 100 grain tip on it, but my total arrow weight was 340 grains. My draw length is 27.5. I was getting 321 feet per second out of that setup with a 340 grain arrow at 70 pounds with a 27.5 inch draw. That is real good speed for, especially for me, I've been cursed with the shorter draw length. I started playing around because it was a little bit harder on my shoulders because, you know, I got used to the single cam. I shot Creeds and all the different other models of single cams over the years, and then going to the No Cam last year, the No Cam HTR, it was just so easy to shoot. I actually shot that bow at 70 pounds. So comparing the two bows, this is the No Cam HTX. I set it up at 70 pounds with, once again, a 27.5 inch draw, shooting a 340 grain arrow, and I'm getting 302 feet per second. Now, that's no gimmicks or no, trying to cheat. I've got a peep in it, it's tied in, I've got my loop on it, I've got everything on the bow that I need to have the bow to be all set up to go hunting. So this 70-pound bow with a 340 grain arrow is giving me 302 feet per second. Now that compared to my No Cam HTR from last year, same exact arrow, that 340 grain arrow, same draw length, same poundage, I was getting exactly 285 out of that bow. So the new bow this year, actually I was able to pick up another 17 feet per second, and it still has that very nice smooth draw to it. I can tell that the draw force curve changed a little bit. It's a little bit heavier on the front end. They took the bow and they reduced the axle to axle by 2 inches, so now it's a 30-inch axle to axle bow. It's actually a little bit lighter. I believe it comes in at like 3.99 pounds, so it's just under 4 pounds. I really like this bow. I mean, for my draw length at 27.5 inches, pulling 70 pounds with a nice, smooth, forgiving, real nice draw force curve bow, I'm able to get 300 feet per second, and it does everything that I need it to do. Now, if I was in a little bit better physical shape as far as my shoulders, now I've been shooting a bow for over 40 years, so my shoulders are, I've ran a lot of shots through these. Now, thank God that all the bows over the last 10 years have gotten so nice and easy to shoot that it's a lot easier on your body and on your joints. But shooting that Halon, I can feel it, and I have a little bit of like a little ache in the front of my shoulder here. I went to the No Cam, went away. So what I'm saying, I guess, is that if you can handle it, that little bit extra draw force curve that you're building up with that bow, it's an excellent bow. I couldn't imagine. I mean, if I'm getting 321 out of a Halon 6, I couldn't imagine with a 5, and then somebody with a longer draw length, like I know they advertise up to 350 feet per second on that bow. A couple of interesting things about this bow. Now, I think the reason why I wanted to do this review is I really feel like this bow is probably going to get overlooked because the Halon is such a great bow, and it's got the speed, it's got everything, it's got a very aggressive, nice look to it. I think that bow is going to do so well, but I really feel like this bow is going to be overlooked. One of the things when you look at the catalog, the IBO speed is only rated at 29 inches because they do only, the new No Cam HTX is only going to go up to 29 inches in draw length. So they didn't rate it at 30. But I'm telling you, the difference just right straight up through the chronograph side by side, it's another 17 feet per second faster. So I really like this bow for the guys that, you know, are a little bit older and their shoulders aren't that great, and they want something that shoots really good. And once again, tuning this bow, what a dream. I mean, I literally set the center shot on it and leveled the nock, and boom, right through paper, perfect bullet, no messing around. Took it into the range, grouped. I had it sighted in, I was ready to go like within 10 minutes. Very, very nice bow, and I hope you know, people look at this bow because it really is, I believe, a great step up from the HTR of last year. Gives you a little bit more speed. They've done things like put the flat back grip on it. They've bridged the riser, made it a little bit wider, and of course they have the same eccentrics, but you know, they're just proven and they work great. So I shot mine all last year, my No Cam HTR. I had taken dozens of animals with it. The thing just really performed well for me. I never once had to mess with the strings. I didn't have anything stretch on me. Everything stayed in time. It is really a super good bow. They did a great job with these No Cam series of bows. Take a look, go to your shop, run a couple of arrows through these bows, compare them, and I think you'll really like this bow. Once again, if I could handle it, I'd love to shoot the Halon, but I think for me, this is going to be a little bit better option. Now, as a side note, when I turned the Halon down to 64 pounds, I could pull it fine, and it worked great, but it did the same speed as this. So I could shoot the Halon at 64 pounds and get my 302 or 303 feet per second, or I can shoot this at 70 pounds. But believe it or not, this bow at 70 pounds is easier for me because it's so smooth off the front of the draw cycle that I can draw it so much easier. So if you can handle 70 pounds and you're looking for some really good speed, you're going to love the Halon. Otherwise, if that's a little bit too much weight or poundage for you, definitely take a look again at the No Cam. Don't give up on this. If you were disappointed a little bit in the speed from the original introductory offer of the HTR, the new one's got the more speed, and it shoots just as good. So I think you're really going to like it. If you're close to Hudson, Wisconsin, A-1 Archery has these bows in stock. We'd love to let you take one for a ride.